Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sean Andrew, back with another review. This time we'll be talking about Nikita, Season 2, Episode 12, Sanctuary. And please feel free to leave comments down below on your thoughts of the show. We're actually going to start off at the Gates House Oversight. They're talking about Nikita, how two of them are now dead, and that they need to take her out. Since they tried changing new management with putting Amanda in charge, they just felt like she failed, even worse than Percy, and they're going to wipe everything and everyone from division. A clean start over, later known as clean sweep. And even after a long debate with the female lady of oversight, telling her how her son Sean, can maybe take over for a while, kind of slowly break down the people there, separate them to other locations instead of killing everyone, she's still been outruled 3-1. So we then go over to division. Amanda has called all of her team, and they are trying to decide on what to do next. They understand that there's some type of potential attack that's going to happen. So she actually goes and talks to Percy, but he's not making it any easier for her. He's trying to play his own angle at things and isn't looking to cut her in at all. They keep talking for a while, on, and what we end up finding out is that Percy makes it very clear, since Amanda seems to think that, they had something special going on, Percy looks at it as, I am an alpha dog, you are a lap dog. We are not the same, we have never been on the same level, and will never be on the same level. Your attraction towards me, which at first I didn't even know was about somebody's attraction, thought that was really odd, but your attraction towards me is just of my dominance. But he feels that you are incapable of love. This definitely strikes a chord with her, which is so interesting, again, as somebody who is practically a shrink, who makes her money or overall has her status of getting into people's heads. Percy knows how to pull those strings very well. She heads to her room, sheds a few tears only for a moment, then decides that's it. She contacts Oversight, and she tells them that she wants to put Percy into a medical-induced coma. Can we say hell have no fury like a woman scorned? Because it didn't take her that long at all to make that decision. And surprisingly enough, Oversight gives their permission. Especially, they find it odd though because she was actually the one that wanted to keep Percy around. It wasn't their decision. She then grabs a little phone that's in kind of this small gold case. It seemed kind of odd to have a phone there, so it looked like definitely a hidden phone, and she calls someone to give him a heads up because their plans have changed. So it's kind of odd to find, one, she has a separate phone stashed away, but two, because of a comment that Percy had made about how she doesn't seem to see the bigger picture or the long run, you don't understand the whole game plan to everything, that now she's talking to someone about having to change plans when we've never had any thought that Amanda would have been working with anyone else. So we're going to pause there and go over to Alex and Nikita. Alex is still reeling about the previous couple of days. Still trying to take in the fact that your mother has actually been in an affair with the man who set up to kill your father is kind of rough. She also points out how she's actually hurt by the fact that her mother and the man who ordered the hit to kill her father is still living in the house she grew up in. And thinking about, that she had to go through all the stuff, not only dealing with division, but then also being thrown into prostitution, having to fight for her life. That is a lot to weigh on her. Now, Nikita tries to help her out just a bit, and she brings up a quick little story about how a woman in a halfway house that she was at said that this is a safe place, you'll be safe here. Well, this lady then up and disappears right as Nikita was finally feeling safe, would be just the easy way to say it. And she falls apart, and then she ends up going to jail. It's like that little bit of hope that she had got seemed to be, as Nikita was explaining it, what was necessary for her to continue to know that hope is possible. But you got to look at that more for yourself and not for everybody else. So I don't really see where that fully helped Alex, because Alex still seemed kind of down. But then she also went on later on to talk about Michael and the problems they were having. And apparently one of the missions in which they actually encountered the guy, Sean, they were actually at the same location in the, I think it was the previous season. And two things that one of each of them did was getting ready to have the other one killed. So that was close call. And I wish I could go back and rewatch that episode, because I don't fully remember them not knowing they were in there. I thought they were in cahoots because they were there with that black girl. But I guess maybe I'll get a chance later on to watch that. Besides that, Michael then shows up, says hi to Burkhoff and then to Alex. And as they start making their way over to Nikita, Burkhoff and Alex find some odd reason to leave. They start talking about his son. He starts talking about his concern that as he was playing with them, what if Division does find out? You know, is he really making the best decision by being part of his child's life, knowing he is still pretty deep in with Division and oversight and just dealing with the government as an agent altogether? Having a child isn't the best type of life for this. So they decide, we'll kind of see what can we do about dealing with this. But just then we see Sean is actually sneaking out of the ocean, sets up his sniper gun on the beach. But lucky enough, Alex comes out of nowhere and snuffs him. Well, at least she sneaks him on the back of the head. The bullet does seem to leave the chamber, though, because it does crash the window, but no one seems to get hit. Nikita and Michael come rushing out to help seduce Sean after a very interesting fight between Alex and Sean, and then they take him back to the house. Nikita keeps a gun pointing at Sean, and she also puts together that because of the gunshot, because of the fight, and because he got dragged to the house, no one has shown up yet, which means he must be alone. And that's very good thought processes, because I honestly wouldn't have put that two together. I figured they were just waiting for their time. Maybe it could have been a plan to get him in there all along. But then, of course, Nikita's been doing this longer than me. So Alex steps in. She's definitely pissed because of the connection they kind of had previously. And she becomes even more pissed when she finds out that he placed a tracker in her father's watch. That just throws her off the mark. But not as much as when he tells her that, well, look, I was doing this all for you. And then she punches him. She also finds out that one of Oversight's people is his mother. Again, she's thinking that he's not really working for Oversight. Not directly. He's more of a good guy in the whole situation. And I realize that you got a direct tie of a family bloodline into it, thinking you must be kind of dirty. Later on, the group is all talking about what to actually do with him. Michael wants to tie him up and then leave him. Burkhoff doesn't want to move. And Nikita's like, well, we can't kill him. And then Alex goes in to talk about how a situation that had happened in which he did want to know the truth and how he was very reasonable at that time. So Nikita says, all right, well, let's sit down and have a conversation with him and tell him everything that's going on. As they start talking with Sean, who is an ex-Navy SEAL, by the way, he actually does start to open up, especially when Alex starts to talk to him. There's definitely this type of relationship potentially brewing between them two. Burkhoff all of a sudden then finds a bug in Sean's phone. Sean feels kind of pissed. He feels very violated. At least that's the way his attitude kind of gave off. And that's when he tells them about Oversight's plan of cleaning out Division. Sean decides that he'll make a call to Oversight, now feeling he's been working with the wrong team, and see if he can help try to bribe them into thinking that they still have a black box. And in return, if you go through with the clean sweep, then we'll release the black box. But as he's talking to his mother, something else odd changes. In closing of the show, we see Percy tied up and several bodyguards standing around him as a medical man preps for this type of needle. Percy states a quote from a book. He gets ready to receive the injection. Meanwhile, the two SEAL agents that have been slowly making their way towards a target, they make it feel as if they're going towards the Vision. But then we kind of find out they actually end up at Oversight. These are actually the guardians of Percy's black boxes. They then start gunning down everyone and hold the main people of Oversight at gunpoint. They then phone Amanda right before she sticks the needle into Percy's neck. and says, hey, look, you better release Percy or we're going to kill everyone at Oversight. And Amanda thinks, well, fine by me. I really don't care. Do whatever you want. But then he continues on and says, we are then going to activate Clean Sweep and kill everyone at Division. Amanda looks at Percy like, you can't do this. And Percy's like, hey, Division is mine. I created Division, and it's rather mine or it's no one's. And I'm thinking, Percy Wonder, even as he said, you had your chance. So that's the end of the episode. This was a little bit more relaxed, even with the extra gun shooting and stuff. It was a lot more information on anything else. I'm glad to see they're finally going more with Oversight, trying to bring them up, because it feels like it's always Nikita in the group versus Division. It's very understandable because of Division ties. But now, since you got Oversight in as of the beginning of this season, really into of last season, I wish they would bring them in more. I mean, this is halfway through the second season, and they're just finally starting to bring them in just a little bit. So hopefully they'll continue to do that further on, because I do love this series. I can't wait till next week's episode. So that has been my review with the TV review show of Nikita, Season 2, Episode 12, Sanctuary. Please feel free to leave your comments down below of what you thought about the episode and what you would like to happen in the coming future. See ya.